welcome back. Well, it has been, I want to say, several days since I brought you any information. And that is because I'm keeping my finger on the pulse of two big issues. So stick around, don't leave. We're going to talk about getting ripped off by crypto programs, and in particular NovaTech, what's going on with this major class action lawsuit. And then after I'm done discussing that, stick around. We're going to talk about the man that I've withheld the name on that has been with AmSys, called Crypto Program. Ed Zimbardi is his name. We're going to talk about him. He was arrested recently, and are the Petions next? Let's dive into this. The class action lawsuit. 50-some pages of this. I have been working diligently to make an attempt to get the attorney with me to bring the information to you during a live stream. Last correspondence I had, it sounded like I'd be able to schedule it the last week of this month of March. So if you want to be in on that, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button so that way you get the notifications. Even drop a comment down that you want this. I'm trying to make it happen. In the meantime, I did get some answers to some of the questions that people have had, as well as me. And if we can get Mr. Morse from Morse Legal on a live show with you, my YouTube family, we're going to dive into some of these questions. So I already have a list of questions that I submitted to his office, and if there are others, put it in the comments down below and I'll make every attempt to get some answers on those. But one of the big questions has to do with listing the church, and I've had numerous people ask about that. And the response that I am getting thus far is that there are two lawsuits. I'm looking over at another monitor here. So I am going to flip over to this. So this is their website, and what I am gathering so far is you go down here and there's a phone number. Do not inundate them with phone calls. Since this thing has gone public, their phones, they said, have been ringing off the hook, and they are working with third-party companies and other attorneys to try to get on top of this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this is huge. This went from what they thought was going to be like a $2 billion lawsuit to over $40 billion that people have tied up into NovaTech. And I heard one number floated around as far as, I'm looking at my notes here, like over 553,000 people in NovaTech. So this is huge. This is not just to the U.S. So if you are from another country and you have you have money invested in NovaTech, you can sign up. So when it comes to church, I'm clicking on this so you can see this. You scroll down, and are you a member of a church? And what's the name of the church? Now, the response that I am getting thus far on this is that question has to do with their class action lawsuit against eMiniFX, however you want to pronounce it. So it's the same template, and apparently there is something with that church, and it kind of spilled over into NovaTech. So you can see down here it says, name of the church. If it doesn't apply, then they're saying just don't fill it in. Maybe click no and put, what's the name of the church? NA, not applicable. So I guess what I'm gathering so far, what I have learned is that this information primarily has to do with eMiniFX lawsuit, but they are also looking at the big serial scammers, the big serial promoters, and you know who they are. They are coming out with almost daily YouTube videos and constantly promoting new platforms. And when one goes under, they're like, okay, yep, rug pull, hope you all got your money out. Now look at this one. Those are the serial scammers. They know what a Ponzi scheme is. Let's go back. They know what a Ponzi scheme is. They know what a scam is because they're promoting one platform and say, okay, everybody, quickly jump in. Here's my referral code. Yeah, they're going to get commissions off from that. And then 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, or whatever, all of a sudden they fold you up. Okay, hope everybody got the money out. That's a Ponzi scheme. It's a rug pull. And then they go on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And right now in my mind, I see these guys. I watch their videos. They're promoting these platforms over and over and over. You've seen their videos. You've seen the YouTube videos. Just one platform, one program after another, and just keep on rolling. And you keep hearing, whoop, that was a rug pull. Here's another one. You know who they are. And those are the people that Morse Legal and the class action lawsuit are going after. The serial promoters, the serial scammers, the ones who do this over and over and over. So when it asks about, church information, there might have been some churches out there that pushed this from the pulpit, pushed this from the platform, and pushed it on the congregation of the church. It's not right. But if it's a big church and they really pushed it and they knew what they were doing, could they get tied up in this? It's possible. Going to here is the lawsuit here. So you see these names, and I'm just going to highlight them. You see these names, and these are the big promoters. James Corbett, I remember when he was promoting Bob St. Louis, Pastor Bob, and the list is going to go on because right here, John Doe, 1 to 500. This document, this filing is going to be amended the end of this month. And if they learn of other big promoters, which there's apparently word that even this DAP, or I'm not sure who he is going to be named on here. So they're going after the big ones. Gene Martin's easy. He was a big one, and he always had his Zooms, as well as some of these others always had their big Zoom calls and really bringing people in. So that's who they're going after. Now, there is no cost to join this lawsuit. Anybody can join. I've had a couple people ask, well, isn't this another scam? Isn't this attorney just going to get money from us? No, you're not going to get scammed anything because you don't have to pay anything. Now, if you were giving some attorney's office who we didn't know much about, got to file $5,000 to get your money back, okay, that might be a little different. But right now, the money's coming out of their pocket, funding this investigation and getting this rolling. And information I've received that this is not going to be wrapped up in a year. Probably not going to be wrapped up in 2 years. This is going to be a long-term investigation. We're in it for the long haul. So I guess it has to be up to you. If you feel comfortable, I do, as far as submitting my information to join this class action lawsuit. I don't have a lot of money into it. And I'm glad that nobody who watched my videos on NovaTech, at least I hope not, at least not that I know. No, I think I do know that no one signed up underneath my name. And I'm glad no one did. I don't want to carry that. Now it's time to call out the scams. So hit that subscribe, hit that like button, because if some reason scheduling doesn't allow, or he just gets so busy and I can't get Mr. Morse on a live, then I will let you know, and I'm going to have a list of questions, and I'm going to get some answers, and we will go through and answer those questions over the next couple weeks. So if you have questions, drop it in the comment, and I want to do everything to get that to you. I'm going to put, let's go back to my other screen here. So this is just an article. I'm going to try to put this in the description so that way you can kind of see what's going on with this. As you can see, here is Legal Morse. If there's something that is urgent, I guess you could email. They do state that they are not answering their phones, just because there's days where he states that the phones are ringing about every 30 seconds. So they are working on putting things in place where they will have a staff of people that will be able to focus on taking phone calls and answering emails. Now, when you do fill this out, people are asking, well, why am I not getting a response that it's been received? Because they are getting tens of thousands of these things. So we have to be patient when you fill this out. His office has assured us that people will be notified. That's why you're giving your email address. We will be notified as far as what is needed. If for some reason they don't have, okay, I'm looking at this. I was told the other day that they were going to update this. Oh, I guess we go to country. I'm sorry. Okay, so it looks like they did. It looks like they did. They update. I didn't click on this here. So do your best if you're from another country. If your country doesn't show on there, then I guess you'd have to send an email. And they're going to keep updating this. And after they amend the lawsuit, we may even have some amendments on this as well. So we need to be patient when we go into this. I will put a link for this in the description as well, so you can go and file that. Okay, so if you do have questions on that form, put it in the comments, and especially on this video, I'm going to really try to pay close attention to the comments. And I try that on all my videos. Some I just get inundated with hundreds of comments, and I tried my best. And if I don't get an answer back to you, I apologize. I'm not ignoring you, but I'm going to do my best to stay on top of this. Okay. So we're going to stick around, and we're going to see what we can do about getting Mr. Morse on a live in a couple weeks. If not, I'm going to get all the answers to our questions. Part 2. Anybody have any money in a platform that was originally called Crypto Program and changed to AmSys, AmSys? And were you familiar with the name Ed Zimbardi? Yes, I will admit, I put a teeny tiny amount in there just to test the waters, and soon thereafter, they kind of took the website down and said that there was problems, accounting problems, and then there was one excuse after another excuse. And way back in the beginning, when Ed who calls himself the master affiliate, he said it is not his platform. But at the same time, he makes comments like, my site, or if people lose money, I will pay them back. Well, if you're paying back, that means that he said that he will give their money back. So if that's the case, then you have to have access to the back end. And if you have access to the back end to give people's money back if they're displeased, then that means it's your program. Well, he said that there's 2 gentlemen that wanted to remain anonymous, and they were the ones behind Crypto Program, and then they changed the name to AmSys. And they changed the name to AmSys right after they got this court, or this cease and desist notice. I believe it was out of Wisconsin. That's funny. You get a legal notice, and all of a sudden you can change the name on your website and the name of your company or program. Okay, that's when I knew something was up here, and I'd like, okay, I'm glad I put just a teeny tiny bit in just to test the waters. But let's go to this. I gotta show you this. There he is. Guess what? He was arrested in, I believe it's the Netherlands. He was arrested. Again, it's not his first time. And he's being called nothing but a master manipulator. I'm going to put this down in the comments as well. I got to make sure I don't close this browser down here. So, and I'm not going to play, because I don't want to, it's 5 minutes long, this investigative report out of Station 2, and that's out of Atlanta. That's where this story broke. The Atlanta Securities Commission has an investigation against Ed Zimbardi. He stated that the 2 guys that were the masterminds behind this whole program, that if anything happened where people were losing money, that he was going to expose them. Well, Ed, if you're out of jail on bond, now's the time to expose people. Come on, Ed, where are you? Expose. Oh, that's right, because they don't exist. It's this guy right here. He is the one behind it. He created this, and I know it. We all know it. He's ripped us all off. And it's good to hear that he got arrested and thrown in jail. So you can go to this and you can watch that news story there. Like I said, I don't want to play it and risk any kind of copyright or what infringement. So we're just going to leave it here. You go to this, you can click on it, and you can watch. It's very interesting. This one woman, Jennifer, she put $60,000 in there. Well, now is what's happened is they went from crypto program to AmSys. Now they've come back because they said, okay, we got some accounting things to take care of on the back end, and we're going to come back strong. Well, yeah, now they're coming back with a new name, Ad Media Spend. And last I looked at the site and kind of following this whole thing here, it stated that, it could be any day now that program, that website is opened up. I don't believe it. I believe that Ed, he tried to flee to the Netherlands, and gosh, I hope I really got that right. I believe he tried to flee with the money, and I'm sure he's got it hidden somewhere because we all know that crypto funds are trackable. And that was another key when talking about NovaTech. People ask, well, if you can't find them or the money, well, it can be found. Once you buy crypto, there's numbers, there's exchange addresses that are attached to that. It's just not like going into the store and spending $5 and you walk out like, okay, short of a receipt, you don't have any documentation, any proof of it. Well, crypto is traceable, it's trackable. So that's what, when it comes to NovaTech, they're going to track that money back and see where it's at. Well, same thing can go on with Ed here. I mean, everything is traceable. Well, and as you go and you start to read down through this article here, this is what I found very interesting because I did a search on his name not too long ago, and I started pulling up all these other articles that Ed Zimbardi is a meteorologist who tracks hurricanes, or a renowned environmental activist, an anti-human trafficking philanthropist. Get your tongue wrapped around that one there. Or a musician. I saw that one. I thought, that's kind of odd. Ed Zimbardi? Well, what happened was that as soon as a lot of these court documents and these cease and desist orders and such started really flooding in, all of a sudden, days later, and it's said in more detail up in the video, so watch that days later, all of a sudden, these news articles started flooding the internet out there. If you do Google searches, it's because he paid a news service to create these and to push these articles. So when people wanted to Google Ed Zimbardi name, like, oh, is he legit? Well, you can find these. Oh, wow, he's a renowned environmental activist. Oh, that's such a nice guy. No, smoke and mirrors. He's trying to cloud everything, create this smoke screen with these so-called legit articles, and all they are just made-up stories. So it diverts you away from looking at the real Ed Zimbardi. The mastermind scammer is what he is. And I want you guys to push that name out there to everybody that you know that is involved in any of these platforms. Ed Zimbardi. You research, he's been arrested before, but he seemed to have a legitimate story, not excuse, story. And I, before I put this tiny bit in, it's like, okay, well, he's been arrested, but then I dove into that and I kind of did my own research. I thought, okay, I guess, I could believe him, so I'll give it a chance. Well, nope. He just goes from one to the next to the next. And that's all he does is just creates these scam sites and rips people off. Here's another news article. Now, this one here is, as recent as March 14th. Or 4th. That was 10 days ago. So this is new story. This is something that is happening now. And, while Dutch authorities have formally charged, the U.S. authorities have not yet. It says Georgia officials confirmed that they are part of a multi-state and multi-agency investigation into Zimbardi. Multi-state and multi-agency. Multi-agency. You know what? To me, that has federal written all over it. SEC, FBI, you watch. They're coming down on him. So I guess that's, something else. People, don't get involved in these platforms. Don't get involved in these Ponzi schemes, these scams, because you're going to get your name thrown right on a court document like this with NovaTech. Or all of a sudden, you're going to be like Ed Zimbardi behind bars. Now, is he still locked up? I tried doing some digging to see if I could figure out, like in the U.S., you can go to county jail sites or prison sites and you can see if they're still in, and not knowing exactly where he was arrested, I couldn't find anything. But hey, if anybody has that information, put it down in the comments and let's just spread that news that no matter what happens, he's a scam artist. And if there is a class action lawsuit that comes out of this one as well, I'll bring that to you too. Okay, there we have it. So we're getting some answers on the NovaTech class action lawsuit. And I'm going to stay on this, and if this does come to be where I can do a live stream with Mr. Morse from Morse Legal, I'm going to put notice out there so everyone knows, and you put it on your calendar. Now I'm going to tell you, if this happens, it's going to be on either a Saturday or a Sunday. That's the requirement out of his office, that I do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. So, and I will let you know the date and time if this does happen. If that does not happen, then I'm going to have my list of questions and hopefully try to bring you detailed answers, the best that I can and as detailed as possible. So stick around, hit that subscribe, hit that like button so you don't miss anything on NovaTech. And I'm going to keep chasing Mr. Zimbardi down, and we're going to see if we can keep getting answers on that. And if for some reason this does end up with a class action lawsuit or something like that out of his programs, then I'm going to stay on that, and I'm going to bring that to you as well. We've covered 2 areas. I'm glad that you stuck around, and I'm going to keep you informed the best I can. So in the meantime, hey, where I'm at, it's a rainy, cold day. I hope that you're somewhere where it's sunny and pleasant. No matter where you're at, let's stick together as a family, and let's watch out for each other. Take care, everybody.